Hey all, I'm ExitLag. Now today we're going to talk about streaming on a budget and how I started. Alright, well let's look at where I started. Now I'm a new content creator and Twitch and YouTube live gaming streamer. I started about 8 months ago, so there is still a lot of improvement for myself and I know that. But that's cool. But I'm here to give you my insights on where I started and how I've progressed. Today we're going to look at my equipment that I first started with. And the first thing that we're going to look at is my microphone. And it is actually still the microphone that I occasionally use today and I am using to record this video with. This microphone I brought from our local outlet called Kmart here in Australia, and including a boom arm for it as well as the microphone, it was $39. Yep, that's right, just 39 bucks. It is an extremely affordable setup. And with that, you can also buy a similar thing off Amazon and probably from your local outlet stores as well for this sort of thing. I will drop links to most of the items that I talk about today and try to find alternatives that may suit you for where you are in the world. So with this microphone, you can probably tell it isn't the best audio quality in the world. But does it pick up what I'm putting out? You guys be the judge, right? At the end of it, does it do the job for what you need to start on a budget? We all have tight budgets when we start streaming. So remember that until this starts bringing you in money, is it worthwhile upgrading? Okay, let's get down to the nuts and bolts of it all. And when I mean that, I mean, what am I streaming off? What am I using as my desktop PC or my laptop or what is it? So I stream from a laptop. The laptop that I use is MSI GL65 Leopard base model. It cost me $1,150. There is two upgrades that I've performed on this laptop. I've added in a second stick of 8 gig RAM, so it's now at 16 gig of RAM. And the other thing that I've added in is an SSD on top of that of 500 gigabytes as well. These are minor upgrades, costing me maybe a total of $100 to $120 Australian. And well worth the effort. If you already have a laptop or looking to purchase a laptop, I recommend a minimum specifications of 16 gigabytes of RAM with a dedicated graphics card, and you will need at least an additional 500 gig storage on top of the 256 gig standard. Now, the only other thing that I have with my laptop that I haven't mentioned is that I actually have it on a stand. So it sits upright so that I use a keyboard and mouse, though my 10-year-old keyboard and mouse that I've been using forever and a day, on my first streams as my camera. You guessed it, the built-in on the laptop. I'm not using that today. In a future video, we'll go over what I am currently using to give me a more high-definition video. Now, when you start streaming, you most likely won't have those really large full screen images of yourself like I am right now. What you will start off with is those little boxes down in the corners and stuff like that. 720p is more than enough. You don't have to go overboard and spend $4,000 on a beautiful DSLR camera that we all strive to have one day. Where you start doesn't mean where you're going to end up. So that was the second reason why I actually had the laptop stand. Of course, depending on your laptop and the positioning of its camera is where it is shooting. You don't want people to be looking up your nose. Remember, at the end of the day, what you want is this nice visual straight on so that you can interact at eye level with those people, which is the most important thing. When people come to watch you, they're here to interact and talk with you. They don't want to see the side of your face, the top of your head, or up your nose. Now, while we're talking about the camera, the next most important thing after your microphone will be lighting in the long run. Now, your lighting that you start off with will be pretty dodgy. I started off with the overheads. They're terrible, especially if you're bald. Trust me, the glare off my head, it was not good. I upgraded to just some simple LED desk lamps that I could point towards myself and had an adjustable setting. Yes, these are super bright when you look into them, so you do have to work on your placement. But did it work for less than $20? Yes, well and truly. The biggest thing that I found after my first stream was interacting on a singular screen is extremely hard. Yes, if you use some of the streaming products out there, they will give you overlays that show up while you're gaming. But the big one is that you need a second screen. This creates ease of use so that you're not alt-tabbing out of your game to switch streams when you need to go take a break or you don't need to adjust something. If it's not set up correctly, you may not know if you have any community there that is talking to you. When I talk community, I mean those people who jump into stream and actually talk to you. They are the most important people that you will interact with while you're streaming. They're there for a long time if you treat them correctly and have interesting content. The last and probably the most important thing with everything that you do is having a nice overlay. Now, when I first started, I used the overlays that come with Stream Elements. We'll touch further on this in a future video because there is a lot to interact with and work out and how to set up with the Stream Elements information. But they do provide free overlays. They do have a chatbot and alerts all in there. Now, that is all free with Stream Elements. There is never any charge by Stream Elements back to yourself. I highly recommend them, and they do a fabulous job of being able to stream not just to Twitch, but to YouTube, to Facebook. With Stream Elements, it is a very simple process of them putting it into your streaming software, which I highly recommend using OBS. So I always recommend using the original manufacturer of streaming software. That being OBS is the best on the market. It is absolutely 100% free as well. All the top streamers out there use it, and you will find that it becomes easier the more you use it. I will link down below to a couple of guys that I started following and watching when I first started streaming that will give you absolutely every insight. The first one I'm going to talk about is Epoch Fox. I know it's a mouthful, but he is magnificent. I mean, if there is something that is needed to know about OBS, he is your guy. The second person I'm going to talk about is Nutty. Nutty is your plug-in go-to guide. If you've got something that is out of the ordinary, he's probably tried it, found it, may still be using it. If there's something that these two guys don't know about OBS, it's not worth knowing, all right, guys? Remember, if you liked what you saw today, remember to hit that like and subscribe button so that you get my next video that goes up that will give you more insight into certain factors that we're looking at today. Also, don't forget, in the description, I will link off to the products that I started using and similars, plus the those guys that I look up to and still watch today because they are magnificent. I'm StreamSpell. I'll catch you next time.